go on over to Iran. The oil situation is not getting any better for the Islamic Republic. And if we take a look at satellite imagery, Kharg Island is semi-active. If you use the NASA satellite, you can see that there's small flaring. What that means is the operations on the island for oil refining are at a minimum, just at a baseline level so that the pressure pumps and valves don't explode. Ships are back. They're waiting to load up on oil, floating as or serving as floating storages. The thing is, none of these ships have made it out or will make it out. What they do periodically is they load up on oil and then transfer it to UAE ships, for example. And then those ships will go out through the Strait of Hormuz. They're UAE ships. The United States isn't going to get in their way, but they will now. No longer will any country be able to perform business with the Islamic Republic. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you want to do. Bring this back for you guys. And the main target of this, in my opinion, is not any country in the Middle East. The main target of this, in my opinion, is China. For this to work, the United States needs to implement full pressure here on China. How they're going to do that is remaining to be seen. And I know, Armin, you think that it's very difficult to put pressure on China, and you're completely correct. But why is that?
Because so the smaller companies that do the refineries and these shadow fleets that some Chinese companies manage, if you want to put sanctions on them, they always find a way around it. There's easy to find a way around it. The way to put pressure, so UAE completely submitted under US pressure and also the Islamic Republic pressure. So that's already 1/3 of the Islamic Republic's imports shut down because the UAE submitted. If you want to do the same thing with China, there are major banks in China. There's also one major bank in China. I forgot the name of that bank. It's a big bank. Like it's not like its revenue is bigger than Tesla. That's how big of a deal it is, right? So for United States to put pressure, and that bank is responsible for allowing the Islamic Republic to make a lot of US dollars, make a lot of foreign currency by selling oil and gas, right? So the UAE shutting down trade, that makes it difficult for the Islamic Republic to get access to imports, but also a significant part of exports of goods and services, right? But when it comes to foreign currency, that is China is going to be important for United States to be able to get China to shut down, dealing with the Islamic Republic, to remove the access to foreign currency for the Islamic Republic. When it comes to the Chinese government itself, their position is obviously that they don't recognize U.S. sanctions and they're not going to enforce it, right? However, the way the United States can get around that is that, okay, Chinese government, you move aside. Hey, Chinese bank, like I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to the government. I'm talking to you. You make millions, hundreds of millions from the Islamic Republic, but you make billions, many billions of dollars from a lot of transactions that is connected to the United States. So make your choice, right? But the thing is that even if the CCP would want to continue, like not put pressure on the Islamic Republic, the bank itself, separate from the government, might be like, I don't want to piss off the Americans, right? Like the bank itself, separate from the government, because there's a lot of revenue. So United States could go directly to the bank and threaten the bank. This is a big bank. Like this is like a huge. This is not a joke. We're like escalating economic warfare to a whole other level, right? And China would get the Chinese government itself if United States does this, because nobody has ever dared do this. Okay, we're talking about companies the size of countries now that you want to put economic pressure on. companies that are globally involved in so many things. So it will impact if you want to threaten a bank that size. That this is going to have global consequences. And if United States goes that far, China will be very angry, and China has more ability to push back and cause headache for United States relative to the UAE. Okay, like obviously China is going to become a bigger deal to push back against its major bank in such a significant way. So that is more difficult to pull off than the UAE. But if you get the combination of the UAE pulling out and not doing import and exports with the Islamic Republic, but also if you manage to, especially this one bank, I'll find the name of the bank, I'll tell you what it is. But if you manage to also get this from China side, then it's over. It's like game over. Like no access to so much of your import export, plus no access to foreign currency. Like that is, but that is a big whole. Like the isolation is still not complete unless you fix the China problem right now.
Here's the important part. Moving on to targeting China.
Hengli, name of the bank.
Hengli Bank. Gotcha. See, look, some Hong Kong banks were already sanctioned by the US over the past couple of months. And now it looks like we're going to be upping that to a huge extent. Here's the thing. The United States' goal from the beginning is, yeah.
So it's not a bank, but it's a giant conglomerate, like giant company that does not just refining but also the financing for the Islamic Republic, right?
Gotcha.
So that's Hengli, and that company makes more than Tesla and Boeing. That's how big of a deal that is.
Wow.
Yes.
Armin, what would you say to the statement? Would you just say yes or no to the fact that the United States' final goal, their final goal of the United States is China?
Yes.
Yes. The Islamic Republic is simply a domino that needs to fall before you can reach China, before the potential beginnings, or maybe we already are in the potential beginnings of a world war. Iran sits at a perfect location, which is fortunate and unfortunate. Being the bridge between Europe, Asia, and Africa here puts you in some strategic advantages, but also disadvantages. So, the disadvantage is every country in the region around you, for Iran, wants a weak and stupid Islamic Republic in power. No one's interested in overthrowing this regime. It's been evident. If it is overthrown, however, and it becomes a US ally, which it will, look at where it is in conjunction to China. India and China, not good relations. Iran could be a perfect hub for CENTCOM, which is something that I would love to see. In eastern Iran, position CENTCOM. You got your border against Afghanistan and Pakistan right here, which are going to be largely controlled by China in the upcoming decade or two. But also a very good containment strategy, which allows the United States to focus on the Pacific here. Largely, I think that's probably going to be the strategy going forward, which is why the Islamic Republic needs to fall sooner rather than later. And I'm quite frustrated and aggravated at how Donald Trump does not want it to fall yet, because I know he has the power to make the Islamic Republic fall whenever he wants it to. The holdup here is that he wants to rewrite the lines of the Middle East, the alliances, and etc., and get the Arabs finally up and off of their behinds to do something. They're not exactly doing what he wants, but he's going to use it anyway.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.